greatest. Left hook on the temple, unbelievable.
We start with a special showcase bout.
It's an absolute monster of a lightweight. What a moment! A history-making goal!
She wasn't going for goal, but she'll happily accept it.
It's gone all the way through, and look at this! Chewinga! Did you dare write Barcelona off?
The career of one of the all-time greats is all but over.
Nice comeback.
Uma oportunidade de dizer alguma coisa que eu acho que nunca disse.
Let's get this party started!
NFL Game Pass is now exclusively on DAZN.
Let's get this thing going.
Watch every game, plus the playoffs and Super Bowl. It's your all-access pass.
That is how you fight a southpaw. Well on his way to coming back.
Katie Taylor does it again. Look at the emotion.
Fight week has begun, ladies and gentlemen. We are in Tampa, Florida. It is hot and it is humid, but we are inside the beautiful Armature Works as we get set for the Jake Paul versus Mike Perry Open Workouts.
July 20, Jake Paul versus Mike Perry.
I fear no man. I'm ready anytime, any place, anyone. People think I'm crazy.
Mike Perry ends people.
A violent, bare knuckle, undefeated legend.
He is a savage. He is an absolute killer.
I'm gonna hurt you bad. I'm bringing the pain. You will be terrified.
Jake Paul versus Mike Perry, July 20, live only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
We are just 3 days away from an electrifying matchup. Jake Paul taking on Mike Perry. We're inside the Amateur Works, getting set for our open workouts. Hello, everybody. My name is Todd Grisham. I am next to the very swole Wade Blim. Make sure you order our pay-per-view. You can get it now on July 20th as Mike Perry and Jake Paul square off. You get a special discount right now, indeed, if you do order that pay-per-view. Wade, when you first heard Jake Paul was going to be fighting Mike Perry, what went through your mind?
Danger. The one word that describes Mike Perry better than any other is danger. Maybe violence, because he's the king of that too. But this fight is dangerous for multiple reasons. Mike Perry's dangerous. He's taken Mike Perry right before he's supposed to fight another Mike later on down the line. So there is massive, massive implications here. And Mike Perry is not only coming here to win this fight, he's coming to inflict pain. He's just a violent guy.
You know, he is a violent guy, undefeated in bare knuckle. He comes head hunting. He doesn't want to win on points, and he's promising to be the first man to knock out Jake Paul. As for Jake, he's got Mike Tyson on the horizon later this year, but he wanted to stay busy. He decided to pick Mike Perry. What do you expect from Jake on Saturday?
I'm going to expect a clean, precise, technical fight from Jake. Listen, you can't get into a back and forth with the king of the bare knuckle. That's the place he wants to be. Jake has to be a technical boxer, show off his skill. He told me in the face-to-face, no one's really seen me. I've been going in and just dominating guys. Round 1, round 2 knockouts. He wants to get some work in here, but he wants to showcase that higher level of boxing. He's looking to do that against Mike Perry.
Anybody who has followed Mike Perry's career know it's you go out on your shield, you go out on your sword. That's what he wants to do. What kind of fighting style do you think Mike Perry's going to do now that he's got gloves on?
Everybody talks about the transition from bare knuckle to regular boxing. I know for a fact Mike trains boxing and then fights bare knuckle. The only translation he's going to get is with the right and his left hand, and they're talking for him. He's not a trash talker, he's a walker. He's looking to walk through punches, be violent and physical, and just eat everything Jake's given and then give him back some.
And Mike Perry says he sees some weaknesses and some holes in Jake Paul's game. He promises to exploit them, but we've heard that before. We'll see if he can do it. Also on the card is the return of Amanda Serrano. She, too, has a mega fight later this year, the rematch against Katie Taylor, but she's in what could be a very difficult fight for her.
Listen, this is a take care of business fight. This is not something that you can gloss over. Stevie Morgan's here to win, not just here to show up, but we know Amanda Serrano is the real deal for a reason. Every single fight she's in, it's entertaining, it's nonstop action. She's looking to push forward. I like this move, staying fresh, staying ready, but it's a dangerous fight nonetheless.
All right, so we have a 5-fight main card on Saturday night, but the prelims should be pretty good as well as we take a look at our fight card. Wade, you'll be calling these fights.
Yes, sir. Listen, these 3 fights you want to keep your eye on for multiple reasons. Angel Barrientos is a monster, AK-47. Then you have Alexis Chop Chaparro. That's Amanda Serrano's protege, and he's looked good. I've had him on Most Valuable Prospects, and of course, Shadeja, the sweet Terminator Green. She is always a fun night to watch. Big shots coming from her.
Yeah, and she's trying to bounce back from her first loss of her career. Just moments ago, we saw several fighters in the ring, including this man, Ariel Perez.
The Golden Hulk, baby. Listen, we've had him on Most Valuable Prospects. He got dropped in his fight, came back, won the fight. He's a local guy. He is entertainment abound. You do not want to miss him opening the card.
He got this crowd all whipped into a frenzy. We've got about 50 people here that were let in. This is a media workout, but we did allow some fans in. And, of course, they were very happy to see Tampa's own Ariel Perez. And then there's Corey Marksman. He's in a rematch against Tony Aguilar. He's from Tampa, Wade.
Again, another local Florida man. We've had him on Most Valuable Prospects. His last name's Markman for a reason. He is a sniper. And their first fight, this was a back-and-forth fight with him and Tony Aguilar. He looked crispy. He looked ready to go. And I'm telling you, this rematch is going to deliver even more.
Did you say he looks crispy?
He was crispy in there, man.
Crispy.
Like, again, he shoots like a gun with that right hand. Look at how crisp and clean this pad work is. And again, his opponent, Tony Aguilar, I've seen him fight multiple times. There is no off switch on this guy. He throws hammers, and that's the difference. You're dealing with a sniper on one side and a freaking AK-47 on the other. He is throwing big punch after big punch. This rematch will solidify the King of Florida.
Their first fight was a 6-rounder. This is going to be an 8-rounder. More time for these guys to work and possibly get the knockout, which both guys think they can get. By the way, he looks like Teofimo Lopez a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, the whole, I don't know if it was the cupping on the back or the toboggan on the head, but he's throwing punches just like him. I'm excited for that one.
All right, let's show you our main card, ladies and gentlemen, and some really good matchups. How about right out of the gate, Wade? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Uriah Hall.
I don't think you'll get something with this much talent in the opening card and this much name value. Uriah Hall, UFC veteran legend. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the son of a legend. That's a banger to start the card.
H2O Silva is back in action against Lucas Bod, and then Amanda Serrano, of course, and Stevie Morgan. 14-1 for Morgan with 13 KOs, so watch out, Amanda. And then, of course, it's our main event, Jake Paul and Mike Perry. You'll see both of those men working out here in just a few minutes. Let's get this party started. In just a moment, we'll hear from Joe Martinez, but I want to quickly hear your thoughts on what you can expect from H2O Silva, because he also has what was supposed to be a big fight coming up in November.
Listen, yes, we all know the Kid Schofield fight is out there, but I'm telling you right now, Kid Austin can wait. This fight right here is another one where H2O Silva is trying to catch, no pun intended, a body. He's going up against a guy 16-0, 14 KOs. It feels like every fight he just continues to step up the levels. He's fluid in the ring, and I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss this hot young prospect.
All right, that's enough for us for now, but we'll get some more camera time. Don't worry. My tan looks too good, and his outfit's too good.
Come on now.
To keep us off for too long. But let's send it to the equally handsome Joe Martinez, today's Master of Ceremonies.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a good evening and welcome back as we are at the open workouts for MVPs. Fear no man, Paul versus Perry and Serrano versus Morgan. It is all brought to you by Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian and presented by Celsius. Live Fit Essential Energy. Live fit with Celsius. We are at the open workout right now. We'd like to bring up a gentleman who first made his name in the mixed martial arts world in Bellator and, of course, Ring of Combat. He won a world championship with ROC and then went on to fight in the Ultimate Fighter as a runner-up before making his debut in the Octagon en route to 18 professional victories. And, of course, he had 14 knockouts and a TKO against the Spider himself, Anderson Silva. Let's bring him up into the ring as he makes his second appearance as a world-class professional boxer. Here is Uriah Hall! And Uriah Hall will test himself Saturday night as he takes on former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The former world champ will step in the ring with Uriah Hall for 6 rounds as scheduled in the cruiserweight division. Hall, who fought to a decision in his debut as a pro against Le'Veon Bell, will now step up in class as he takes on the veteran inside the ring, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
So Uriah Hall, of course, many people remember him from his UFC days. Wait, I remember when people were saying this guy could be the next Anderson Silva in MMA.
He was so scary coming through the Ultimate Fighter series. And people remember he had one of the nastiest head kick knockouts I've ever seen in MMA. And from that moment on, Uriah Hall became a household name. They were talking about him fighting for the middleweight championship after winning the Ultimate Fighter. That's how good he is as a combat sports athlete. And that's never been a question with Uriah. It's never been a talent question with him. And now you're seeing him transition over to the boxing realm. He's such a good striker, whether it's with his feet, whether it's with his hands. He can adapt to pretty much any combat sport. So I'm very excited to see him boxing and back in the ring again. Even age 39, he moves around like he's 25 years old, Todd.
And speaking of Anderson Silva, he too fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., pulled off the victory. So we'll see if Uriah Hall can do the same. But listen, we were talking to him earlier this week in the fighter interviews, and he seemed like he was in a very, very bad mood. He just wants to fight.
Yeah, listen, sometimes you get Uriah Hall in these modes where whether it's the media talking about him or whether it's he hadn't had a fight in a while, he just wants to get in there and prove something. He always has that chip on his shoulder, and I think as he's come into boxing, that's become an even bigger chip on his shoulder because, let's be honest, he beat Anderson Silva. He retired Anderson Silva from MMA. So now he's fighting the same guy Anderson beat. You have to think he wants to do it better. And yeah, you ran into a buzzsaw. I think Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. might do the same on Fight Night.
He told us an interesting story how he went to, I believe it was Wild Card Gym for the first time to get some work in the sparring, that everyone was coming after him so hard he started kicking them. And he said, man, I'm not getting paid to be here. And Tyron Woodley was on the call with us. He was like, well, you know, you're going into their home. They're going to try and defend it a little bit. But Uriah Hall just does not take prisoners, does he?
No, listen, again, boxing sparring is a little bit more of a fight in the gym, and Uriah comes from the Muay Thai background, comes from that, a little bit more of a karate background, honestly, but yeah, listen, at any point, a UFC guy with a name like Uriah has comes into your gym, you're going to want to make a statement. But the thing about Uriah Hall is he's got the skills without the gloves on to make you pay if you try.
Yeah, he made it very clear that boxing is not his first love. He's here to make an impact. He's here to make money. And, hey, you beat a former champion like Chavez Jr., your next fight, you'll probably get some serious cash.
Absolutely. That's the thing about this entire card. Top to bottom, we have superstar names. And Uriah Hall is leading off the card. Honestly, I love this position for him because you're getting the first eyes of the night. People are coming in that main card looking for some action. Look no further than primetime. This is Uriah Hall.
You see him in there working those pads. He's obviously not quite as big as Francis Ngannou, but he's got a little bit of that feel when I look at him.
Absolutely. He is jacked, son. And it's effortless the way he's got this build perfect for fighting. He's got a long reach. He's got quick twitch fiber. You see that there. Full counter ready to go. One thing I will say about Uriah, every time I've seen him box, and this happens with a lot of MMA fighters, they don't realize necessarily the Marcus of Queensberry. Like, he's not getting hurt in fights, and he's thinking, oh, okay, I'm not getting hurt with these shots. I'm just going to keep walking forward through them. And he may actually be losing some of those rounds. I want to see this time around with him be more active, more volume on the front foot. If you remember back, he fought Le'Veon Bell way back when, a couple of years ago, and that fight was close for Le'Veon's first appearance, and it was, I think, one because Le'Veon's super talented. That guy is amazing. But also, Uriah was in that fight just kind of doing his thing. So I think that when I watch him here in this open workout, I want to see some volume. I want to see some power, something to give me a little bit more indication he's going to be that big-time volume puncher on Saturday night.
And, of course, when you talk about Julio Chavez Jr., you worry about his motivation. We've seen in the past he's admitted himself that he wasn't focused. You'd think a former boxing world champion who's not exactly old and burnt out, if he comes in dialed in and focused, he shouldn't have that many problems with a fighter like Uriah Hall.
It's always a question of why are you doing it? And for Chavez Jr., what is still left in the tank mentally, emotionally? Because physically, he has the talent. He has the skill. The lineage is there, the bloodline is there, but why are you fighting? And if he is motivated, if he's reinvigorated to get back into this ring and change not only his in-ring life, but outside of it as well, I think we can see a completely different boxer, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, how about a big hand once again, everybody? Let's hear it for Uriah Hall. Uriah, if we can have just a moment of your time right now, a couple questions for you. Big test for you on Saturday night. You're going up against the former world champion. What are your thoughts on that fight?
It's going to be a good scrap, man. Respect to the kid. His dad's a legend. I take nothing away from it, you know, so I'm excited to do it.
He's had a layoff for about 2 years now. A lot of people have questioned his own heart in the sport of boxing. What's your take on your opponent on Saturday night?
At the end of the day, I'm a martial artist. There's fighters, and then there's martial artists. As a martial artist, it's a continued journey. It never ends. It's a growing aspect. That's what I learned from a kid. Martial arts is like life. Every day is a fight. You get up, it's a fight. So you treat it like a fight. And in boxing, there's what, 12, 15 rounds, whatever. You might lose, but the idea is to get up and compete and try to win. So, fuck it, let's go.
It's great advice. Uriah Hall, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to seeing you Saturday night on the main card at Amalie Arena here in Tampa, Florida, and live worldwide on DAZN pay-per-view.
So that was Uriah Hall. Sounded like he was in a pretty good mood, unlike the other day where he looked like he was somebody was rubbing his face in sandpaper or something.
Yeah, listen, Uriah has a unique outlook on fighting and again, life in general. He speaks about being a martial artist, and he reminds me a lot of the Conor McGregor mantra, which is win or learn, right? He has kind of traversed this entire combat sports scene in a way that's different from a lot of fighters. He doesn't put so much into win or loss. It's always, what's the next thing? How do I improve?
And by the way, if you're wondering what the odds are, Uriah Hall, a plus 215 underdog against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Speaking of whom, let's get into the ring. Here's Joe Martinez.
And ladies and gentlemen, next to make his way up to the ring, a young man who started his professional career winning his first 47 fights, and in 2011 became the WBC World Champion. He is no other than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr. returns to the ring to take on UFC star Uriah Hall, who knocked out Chavez Jr.'s former opponent, Anderson Silva. Jr., the Culiacan, Sinaloa Mexican, a native son of three-division world champion, El Gran Campeón Mexicano, Julio Cesar Chavez, the greatest Mexican fighter of all time.
Wait, I don't know if you remember this. You probably do. His fight against Sergio Martinez, the 12th round, may be one of the greatest rounds in the history of boxing. He was behind on every card. I think he lost all 11 rounds and then dropped Martinez, and it was a fight to the death. Go back and watch that round. I mean, incredible stuff from Julio Cesar Chavez.
I mean, that's a sport of boxing for you, man. You fight all 12, and it's almost, again, it's a reflection of life for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right? You know, you have this expectation of senior, and living in that shadow has to be overwhelming to a degree. But in moments like that, he sparks greatness, and that's really it, moments of greatness from him. I want to see, the guy has 53 wins, 34 knockouts. Does he have another moment of greatness? Does he have multiple left? Because like you said, that was one of the greatest rounds in boxing. How much left does he have, and can he showcase it on Saturday?
And he mentioned that he was always still trying to earn his father's love and respect. He said, look, my dad's birthday was last week. I'm going to go out there and perform well for him.
That's always been, I think, a massive motivating factor for him is, I mean, how can it not be? One of the best to ever live in Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. So obviously his son always looking to fight in his image, to lead a similar walk. And this fight is going to be an ode to his father, right? Because how many times can we all in our own life look back and say we slipped and we fell, or we disappointed in some way and we were able to come back? I love doing this for my dad. I love talking about this sport, to go back, run to my pops and say, hey, listen, this is what I get to do now, and I hope it represents you well. It's all he's looking to do Saturday.
That's great, man. Hello to Papa Plim.
Shout out Papa Plim, baby, yes. But listen, while we're watching him here, everything is so smooth. This is what I talked about a second ago. The muscle memory, even, like I said, age 38, he's a young 38, man. Had some time off in the sport. He's still got some just absolute bombs in his hands. Nothing to mess with for Uriah Hall.
We were talking about this earlier. Julio Cesar Chavez had some discipline problems. He said, look, I just wasn't focused like I should have been. I go back and watch some of my fights, and I'm like, I should have won that. I wasn't training properly. I wasn't dialed in. And now he says, I need boxing in my life. It keeps me on the straight and narrow. It gives me a purpose. It gives me something to do.
How many times do we hear that from fighters, man, when they're out of camp, when they're not training, when they're not boxing? The great Tyson Fury talks about it almost every day if you put a mic in his face. He said, listen, I need to be training 3-4 times a day. It is the sweet addiction of sport. It's literally what it is. Like, I need to be commentating. It's what I do. So for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., man, this is life. It is not just a way of life. It is life.
And there's been rumors, Wade, you've probably heard these as well, that sometime in the future he could get in a fight with Jake Paul.
Listen, I've heard all of the rumblings of Cinco de Mayo 2025, and why else would you want to be on a Jake Paul card other than to potentially move up that and look and see, hey, I'm still here. I'm still Chavez Jr., and you may have to deal with me come 6 months to a year from now.
And let's be honest, if Chavez Jr. fights the way he should fight, considering his background and his pedigree, he shouldn't have too many problems with Uriah Hall. But does he still have that footwork? Does he still have that desire in the ring?
That's the thing, man. Is it going to be Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde? We don't really know, right? what junior are we going to see? Because let's be honest, Anderson Silva walked into the backyard and said, hey, I'm here now. And that was a fight we all went, yeah, Chavez Jr. is going to win that. That's not going to be a hard fight, and it was. So, yes, if he performs at his ability, he should make this fight, I wouldn't say easy, but he should get through with a win here. But just going to be which junior shows up.
Yeah, Chavez told us also, look, I want to end my career on a good note. Right now, I've left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, including my own. I want to end on a good note, and it starts with a win Saturday night in Tampa against Uriah Hall. As this crowd showing their appreciation for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. By the way, his English is fantastic. He's been working on it. He was speaking with us earlier this week, so he's really gotten a great grasp of the language. I know Canelo Alvarez also, and I think it's so important for those fighters to expand their fan base, learn English, let us see your personality. That's what people love.
English-speaking Canelo might be my favorite version of Canelo. I love it today.
Payday.
You want payday? I know this. Yeah, no, he's the man. And that's, again, you're 100% right, Todd. You can expand your horizons, expand your fan base. You're only going to get bigger and bigger in the sport.
All right, thank you so much, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Give it up for him, Tampa. And his coach, Charles Huerta. Charles, if you wouldn't mind standing by with me. Julio, Saturday night, a big night for you. It's been 2 years since your last fight. What can we expect from you Saturday?
I'm expecting a great fight. You know, I'm ready. I have a good condition. I have a great opponent in front of me. So, the people, I'm ready. Yes.
Now, I don't know if you watched your opponent's last fight, if you were impressed with his performance. He's stepping up into class, obviously, against you, a former world champion. Can he go the distance with you? Can he stand in the ring with you and trade?
Oh, man. You know, one of the things of UFC fighters is always in shape. So I'm expecting a top fight. He's strong, so it's another weight class. But I'm ready. I think I'm better boxer than him, so I'm ready to win Saturday night.
Well, I think the boxing world is excited to see you back in the ring after 2 years. So welcome back, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., ladies and gentlemen.
Did your pops have any advice for you? And he said he did. He said, listen, this guy's going to throw one punch at a time. You know exactly what he's going to do. You've got to be busier. You got to throw more punches than him, and you should be able to win this pretty easily.
Senior's a legend for a reason. That's the exact perfect analysis of an MMA fighter coming to boxing. That's what he has to do, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I want to see more from him. I think he's going to give it to us.
He wants to fight Jake Paul. He made that very clear earlier this week, but he said, not only do I have to win on Saturday, I got to look good doing it. We'll find out if he can get the job done as he faces Uriah Hall live on DAZN pay-per-view.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the ring MVP super middleweight powerhouse. Here is Shadeja Sweet Terminator Green. And Green makes her first appearance in 2024 in the ring Saturday night against Natasha Nightmare Spence. Shadeja comes to the ring from Paterson, New Jersey, former standout college basketball star, Team USA boxing silver medalist, boasting an impressive 13-1 record with 11 knockouts. And this is the main event of the MVP prelims, brought to you by Jake Paul and Nakisa Badarian. It will be streaming on YouTube and DAZN.
So Shadeja Green in uncharted territory for her, Wade. She's coming off the first loss of her career, but it was against Franchon Cruz DAZN, one of the best in boxing, but I know how frustrated she was with her performance.
Yeah, listen, I think that fight was, I would call it an eye-opener for Shadeja Green. She had steamrolled through opponent after opponent. She was 12-0 at the time, 13-0 at the time, 11 KOs. She was knocking girls out left and right. They were calling her the Sweet Terminator for a reason. And then you run into Franchon, and that was a stylistic issue. It was a familiarity issue. They had known each other from years back. And it was one that I think when you fight somebody at that caliber, win or loss, it makes you better. And there's still so much excitement around Shadeja Green. I think that this fight is going to be a chance for her to reset, reflect, and put on a star-studded performance.
Shadeja Green taking on an opponent from Canada, Natasha Spence. Wade, her record is 8-4-2. The Terminator should terminate her.
Yeah, this is 100% a fight for her to get back on track. Show the world why we are so excited about her as not only a prospect anymore, as a world talent. And you need these fights. When you do take a loss, a tough loss, a close loss, like the fight she just had, you want to make sure you get back on the horse the right way. And ever since that fight, I've seen Shadeja a couple different times at a couple different events. There's a different focus in her eye. Like, it feels like she could fight tomorrow every time I see her. And I just saw her yesterday. That same look is there. She's ready to go.
She is trained by Barry Porter. And I'll tell you what, Shadeja Green, one of the most intimidating fighters I've ever met. When she mean mugs you, Wade, you want to get out of the room.
This is what I'm talking about. I come up, introduce myself. I'm a cordial guy. Hey, how you doing, Shadeja? And she just has this look. And there are very select few fighters that have that specific look when you're looking at them as if they might punch you if you say the wrong thing. that's the way she looks, but I know that focus that she wants and the redemption she's looking for Saturday.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Shadeja Green is not looking for a points win. She wants to knock out or nothing.
That's the way she fights. She's a very aggressive fighter, incredible power in her hands, and every single fight is a statement fight for her. Let's be honest, Most Valuable Promotions has brought her up as they did with Amanda Serrano, and the spotlight being on her, every time she's in that ring, she has to put on a big-time performance. Once again this Saturday, that pressure is on. Let's see what she can do.
And I'm imagining she is wanting, hopefully in the future, a rematch against Franchon Cruz DAZN. She felt like she was the better fighter, but it just wasn't clicking that night. I think it's because she had an opponent who was just as tough as she was. I mean, Franchon Cruz DAZN is as tough as they come.
This is what I'm telling you. You roll through as many opponents as she did because of her talent, because of her skill, because of her power, and sometimes you run into that one opponent that you just don't have the answer for that night, and you need to grow from it. That first challenge prepares you for the second and the third. And yes, I would love to see a rematch, again, barring what happens Saturday. But this is the fight for her to get back on track, to see where she's at, and to get that eye of the tiger that she continues to have every time I see her.
So Shadeja Green will be competing in the featured prelim, the main event of the prelims, so to speak. But nice for her to get her shine here in Tampa. I know MVP still very big up on Shadeja Green. They believe she could turn things around.
Absolutely. Again, they signed her with the intention for her to be a world champion. That's still the goal, and that's where she's headed.
Well, Shadeja, thank you for showcasing some incredible handwork right there. You got to be feeling pretty excited about Saturday night. Your main event on the prelims. What's going through your mind right now, coming off of what you experienced, your first loss as a pro, a world title championship on the line, #1 contender in all the belt divisions. What are you thinking as we go into Saturday?
I feel amazing. Nothing but happiness. I just can't wait to showcase my best self Saturday. I'm going there, have fun. I'm gonna get the KO. Shadeja Green is back. The sweet Terminator. Cross out the sweet. The Terminator is back.
Knowing your opponent is stepping into the ring with you on Saturday night, what do you expect from her? Is she going to be able to stand with you?
I hope she presents a strong force so that I'm able to showcase my skills and ability. But again, I'm letting her borrow the ring for a couple of minutes. This is my ring, and I'm going to show and prove that. This is my ring.
Well said. Well, you've hyped that fight up. We're excited for it. The main event of the prelims on Saturday night. Emily, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Shadeja. We'll go with the Terminator Green.
As if there was any doubt, would she be properly motivated? You heard her basically saying, come in the ring, this is my house, and you're not welcome here.
Exactly what she needed to do. Shadeja is locked in.
Let's go back to Joe Martinez.
And next to make his way to the ring, he's one of the top-ranked lightweights by both the IBA and WBA. He is undefeated, 16-0 with 14 knockouts as a professional. Here is, ladies and gentlemen, Lucas Pretsbody! Body comes to the ring by way of Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Three-time Canadian national champion as an amateur. And the 30-year-old winning his first 11 fights by way of knockout. Again, he is a top-ranked lightweight contender by the WBA and the IBF. This is an undefeated showdown between two perfect fighters. Again, Badi, 16-0 with 14 knockouts. His opponent is H2O Sil, who stands at 11-0 with 9 knockouts.
Lucas Body, one of 2 Canadians on the card. Also Natasha Spence, the opponent of Shadeja Green from the Great White North. But Lucas Body stepping in to face H2O Silva. Not a lot of guys would want that fight, but Body believes he can win.
You're right about not a lot of guys wanting to fight H2O Silva. He's been trying to find tough fights for years. I remember when he was 10, 11, 12 years old in sparring rooms fighting grown men. So I've seen this kid for a long time. But I'll tell you this, Lucas Body is a dangerous fight for H2O. Again, we talked about the Kid Austin fight coming up. This is not a guy you take as a, hey, let me just stay active.
Yeah.
This is a dangerous fight. 30 years old. He's in his prime, 16-0, 14 knockouts. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
You know, watching some of Lucas Body's fights, he's got kind of that brawling style. He's got a big overhand right that a lot of people can't handle. At first you think, well, H2O Silva could probably pick this guy apart, but man, if he doesn't and he gets clipped with one of those right hands, he could be knockout victim number 15.
Absolutely. And again, every fight when you get to this level, if you're H2O Silva, is starting to become more and more dangerous. He's been in there with guys that have competed at the top, at the world level. Lucas Body is another guy I could see there. So at any point in this fight, you let your guard down. This is not, hey, let's get you going with a fight that's going to be an easy one. We'll get you in there, get you moving around for a couple of rounds, and then you can finish the job. This is going to be a fight from round 1 until it's over.
Lucas Body, 16-0 with 14 knockouts. In your opinion, Wade, as you mentioned, you followed H2O Silva for a long time. What's it going to take for someone to beat him?
Well, here's the thing. I look at Lucas Body. One thing that jumps off the page for me is that he's switching stances here for us. And I don't know that that's something that we're going to see, but he's doing a lot of switching stances. H2O does that a lot. For you to beat him, I think you're going to have to be a high-volume puncher that also doesn't take damage, because once you start that volume, he is a sniper in the pocket. He will find ways to counter you, and it just takes him the old Floyd Mayweather rule. It just takes him a couple rounds to download, read, and react. Once he's to that point, the fight's over. So if you can stay variable, if you can stay fluid like H2O, you can last into those later rounds, maybe. But another thing that jumps off the page is 16-0 at 30 years old means that Lucas Body is good. He's experienced, but not for his age, and I'm interested to see how H2O Silva's experience from a young age is going to affect him in this fight.
Obviously, this will be the biggest fight of his life coming up Saturday here on DAZN.
Hey, Lucas, thank you. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Lucas Body one more time. We're going to get your thoughts here, Lucas. You're fighting H2O Silva Saturday night. He's 20 years old. You're a world-ranked fighter. Is it too much too soon for the young buck?
We're going to find out Saturday night.
Can I get a prediction from you?
No predictions.
All right, you've been around this game for a long time. 3-time national champion. You come out of Canada. You're 16-0, 14 knockouts. So you're heavy-handed. This is a huge test for him.
Absolutely. It's his hardest fight, my hardest fight. So it's going to be a great fight of 2 undefeated fighters.
What's your excitement level coming into Saturday night here in Tampa?
Sorry, what was that?
Your excitement level, how are you feeling?
Super excited. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, MVP. Thank you, DAZN. Thank you, Jake. It's an opportunity I've been waiting for a long time.
All right, Saturday night, somebody's always going to go, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, give it up for Lucas Body!
I don't know what to make of that interview. He wasn't exactly oozing with confidence. He said, what prediction? Most guys will say, I'll win, but I'm not going to tell you how I'll do it. He wouldn't even say he was going to win.
No prediction, Todd. He's not giving it away that easy. He's locked in, but he's not trying to tell us what's going down.
Yeah, you'll find out Saturday. I guess we will indeed as we go back to Joe Martinez.
All right, we saw Lucas Body. Let's meet his opponent. He is undefeated. Again, he's a lightweight prospect himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ring, H2O Silva! The undefeated 20-year-old phenom from Long Beach, California, returning to the ring. Following his 10-round bout against Brazil's Esteban Falcao on MVP's Most Valuable Prospects 5 back in February of this year. A lot of hype around this young man who stands at just 20 years old already, 11-0 with 9 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking right now at ESPN's 2022 Prospect of the Year, who was signed by MVP in 2022. He's been training in boxing since he was 6 years old under his father, Ivan.
All right, Wade, for those who have never seen H2O Silva in the ring, how would you describe his style?
Complete. There's very, very few holes in his game. It's not going to jump on you with the power early, but he's also super fast. And then that power comes out. He is a read-react fighter. He can fight on the front, back foot. One of the things that he does, and this is all the greats do it, but I'm seeing him develop it fight after fight because I've called his fights now for the last 3 years. During the fight, he's learning. He's looking at opponents, and he's making reads that he's implementing in the rounds. Yes, you have your corner work, and hey, maybe look for this, look for that. He's looking for it in the middle of rounds. You flinch the wrong way, he's catching it. The matrix is going in his head, and then he's reacting almost like a robot, man. So he is fantastic in the ring. He's just getting started, 20 years old. The kid's got a future that's very, very bright.
And I don't know how you felt about it, but when I first heard about the card, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Yes, of course, that's a headliner. And then the rematch, Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. But when I saw Kid Austin versus H2O Silva, I thought it was a misprint. I'm like, these two young gun prospects going head-to-head. I mean, this is almost like Shakur fighting Gervonta Davis 3 or 4 years ago. You don't see these kind of matchups.
Listen, you have to give credit to MVP when you throw that word prospects out there, because I've been on their most valuable prospects card. They've been doing this for the last year and change now. They are putting in the fights that you want to see, even with guys that you wouldn't see fighting for another 20 fights like you alluded to, Todd. They're doing it earlier in their career, and I'm so glad, because regardless how the fight goes, that's a banger of a fight, and we have to let go of this notion that the O is the king of boxing. Let it go. Floyd Mayweather was a phenomenal fighter. He is the exception, not the rule. If we can let go of that O and show great fight after great fight, the fighters are going to get better, the fans are going to love it more, and they'll keep coming back. That's that kind of fight. Again, we're not there yet. H2O has to get through Lucas Body. And again, I talked about it a second ago. This is not a gimme fight. This is a dangerous fight. He has to be ready to go.
Yeah, when H2O was asked about his prediction, he said, I'm going to put another body on my record. Ooh. He thinks he's going to knock Lucas out. Of course, that would be his first loss. But H2O Silva coming off his first ever 10-rounder. He went the distance, although he did get a knockdown in round 10. How do you think that fight has helped prepare him going forward?
It showcased 10 rounds. He was patient, he was productive, but he wasn't overreaching, overbearing. He got his rounds in. I thought that was a great opportunity for, again, a young fighter on a big stage to get rounds, to see himself into that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round and feel what that was going to be like, because I'm telling you, as the skill levels go up, he's going to see that more and more. So I think it was a great thing for him to experience and take into this fight.
I know Shakur Stevenson's been getting a lot of grief the last 2 weeks that he's a boring fighter, and I'll tell you what, H2O Silva in that last fight, he'd won every round, all 9 rounds.
Clean.
Probably almost every single minute. But he went for it all in the 10th because he wants to excite the fan base. He wants knockouts, and that's what it takes to be a star, in my opinion. You don't just need points victories. And you mentioned Floyd Mayweather. You know this. Early in his career, he was knocking folks out.
Absolutely. And again, Shakur does get a lot of flack for it, but that's why you see some of these young fighters punctuating fights. You know, Dr. Silva, who is Ashton's father and also his head coach, he's talked to me multiple times about, yes, boxing is the sweet science, but at the end of the day, you got to have some nasty. You got to be in there wanting to not just win fights, but beat your opponent. And while he is mega talented, uber talented, at the end of the day, he wants to punctuate wins with that knockout.
And you know what? Whatever people say, boxing is still entertainment. And to me, you go watch the movies, it's all about how the movie ends, right? How does it end? Did it leave me with a good feeling? You go see a guy who doesn't try and finish an inferior opponent and just coast to a victory. That's not the movie I want to watch. I want to see the big explosion at the end, and I want to go wow and head home.
Absolutely. And again, you talk about, inferior opponents. We're getting to the point now where H2O Silva is looking to finish everybody. Because if we're talking about Lucas Body, we're talking about Kid Austin, inferior opponents are gone. At 11 wins, 20 years old, he is stepping up to a level that you don't see in this sport. So he's even with that mindset and the opponent's skill level rising, he's still looking for those knockouts and to put on a show.
He's in there hitting the pads with his father, Ivan Silva, and we've seen him boxing that the father-son relationship sometimes works and sometimes works great, but other times it can fall apart quickly. What do you make of this relationship?
I've been in the gym when I actually trained with the guys. I lasted about 30 minutes. The entire session was 2 hours. I was puking. It wasn't great. But what I see when I watch Dr. Silv train his son, it is not a father-son relationship once the gym has the lights turned on.
I didn't know he was a doctor. What kind of doctor is he?
I guess of the sweet science.
Of Hard Knocks?
I guess.
All right.
The Hard Knocks, the square circle. But what I've seen is they have a completely different relationship. It is coach and fighter, and it is from the rip for the entirety of the sparring session till the end of it. And then we can talk about what's happening in family life and what's going on at home. But they very much keep it strictly work, strictly boxing in the ring and while they're training.
So it's Silv versus Body coming up Saturday night, and H2O promising to steal the show here in Tampa live on DAZN pay-per-view.
H2O Silv, give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen, the young 20-year-old prospect out of Long Beach, California. H2O, can I get a minute of your time, brother? You got the speed, you've got the talent, you've got the stamp of approval from ESPN in 2022 as a top prospect in a division that has so much talent. It's just loaded with talent. What makes you that top prospect?
Because I flow like H2O.
I appreciate the response there. I think the world is excited to see what you can showcase. You're going into another 10-round fight, coming off of a 10-round fight. What do you expect from your opponent, Lucas Body, who is nationally ranked or world ranked in IBF, WBA? He's a 3-time national champion in Canada. What do you expect from him?
I expect a good challenge for him to put up a good fight for at least the first 5 rounds. But after that, we'll see what him under the bright lights would look like for him.
You're going to be showcased on DAZN pay-per-view, going back to California, Long Beach, all your family, all your friends, watching live around the world. What's your message Saturday night for the world that does not know H2O Silv?
They better get to know him.
Thank you so much. H2O Silv, ladies and gentlemen, he will showcase his skills on Saturday night on DAZN pay-per-view here in Florida.
H2O Silv, he's going to get double interviewed here, Wade. We're bringing
back with it.
Back to back. He's coming over here right now. We didn't get to see that hand speed on display in the ring right now, but man, he's got some of the fastest hands in the game.
He's got the juice, man. Like everything that H2O does just pops off the page, and I'm so excited to see him fight. I heard him in the ring talking about, hey, those first 5 rounds, we'll see how he does, but after that, it's my show, it's my fight. That's the way he fights, and when he turns it up, man, he just does not turn it off.
And I love the fact that he is an entertainer. He's willing to take risks. And you mentioned it's hard for him to find opponents, but he's got, at least on paper, a pretty solid one this Saturday, an undefeated opponent from Canada. And Lucas Body, here he is, H2O Silv, joining me and Wade Plum here on the stage. Welcome to Tampa. I know you've already been interviewed once, but we'll do it again. We were just talking about this fight on the horizon you might have against Kid Austin. Why would you take on an undefeated opponent knowing you might have that fight here in a couple months?
So I feel like it's all about challenge and progressing during the fight. You don't want to put yourself on the pedestal, so kind of want to just keep going throughout my career.
H2O, this crowd is going crazy. They're going crazy for you in the ring as well.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. People are like, H2O is coming. His time is coming. I feel like your time is right now.
Yeah.
People are starting to know. I heard you get asked, how's it feel to fight on pay-per-view? You've done this.
Yeah.
You've been in the bright lights. You should be asking Body how it feels.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this. What does it feel like now to have arrived and to be a household name? Because I think you are.
This is a dream come true. I think it feels satisfaction and normalized for me because I think I grew up picturing or wishing I always had the spotlight on me. So once I'm finally here, it's this is what I expected.
Yeah, I know you got the fight on Saturday. I'm sure Kid Austin and his dad are watching right now. What's your message to those guys? What are you going to send to them on Saturday?
For sure, a message. I think they already got the message, but just heal up and I'll be waiting for y'all.
All right, there you go. H2O Silv, knockout Saturday?
Of course.
All right.
That's what we're going for.
Good luck to you. Let's send it back into the ring now, Joe Martinez.
All right, thank you, Todd. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Moving on with our next fight on Saturday night. Here is Tampa's own. She's born and raised. Give it up for the Sledgehammer, Stevie Morgan. Stevie Sledgehammer Morgan established herself as a formidable force in the boxing world. Born and raised in Tampa, Florida, and Saturday night She gets a fight right here at home. Named Outstanding Female Boxer and Florida Golden Gloves Champion, currently ranked by the WBC, and is in the top 10 in the IBF, WBO, and WBA rankings. And she's got a big test ahead of her Saturday night. Amanda Serrano will step back into the ring. 7-division world champion against Tampa's own Stevie Morgan.
So Stevie Morgan, look at that record, 14-1 with 13 knockouts. And we interviewed every fighter on this card earlier this week, Wade. And the biggest trash talker was Stevie Morgan. She called Amanda Serrano low-hanging fruit.
Listen, I love it. Because why not? Look at the moment. Look at the spotlight you're going to have against arguably the best women's boxer to have ever lived. Why not come in with the confidence oozing? You got really nothing to lose here, so throw it all out on the table. And if we can say anything about Stevie Morgan, yes, 14-1, 13 KOs, and she is uber confident.
And she said, listen, people don't want to fight me. You know, you talk about H2O Silva having a hard time finding opponents. She's had a super hard time. In fact, she says, look, I'll look on the schedule and see if there's a big fight in my weight division coming up on a certain date. I'll try and schedule a fight near that date in case an opponent drops out. And that was the mentality around Amanda Serrano, and she finally has the chance of a lifetime.
I love that, man. That's what you want to see in a fighter. Someone that genuinely has, regardless of how many wars you've been in, regardless of how much it took to get to the spot, that hunger, that fire to still be here. I'll tell you this, hearing a lot of that, hearing her talk, the motivation, this is a dangerous fight, man, because you can easily, if you're Amanda Serrano, look past this and go, I got Katie Taylor, I got the rematch, Madison Square Garden the last time it was a big event, I'm going to get back. If you do not focus on this fight, all that goes away. We talked about it with Jake Paul and Mike Perry. The same thing here for Amanda Serrano. She has to focus in because Stevie Morgan's ready to go. She is locked in and confident.
You know, we talk about fighters getting old overnight, so to speak. Amanda Serrano has been in some wars in her career. She loves them. God bless her. But who's to say she gets in one war too many? And it happened Saturday night against somebody with hands like hers.
Absolutely. And not only that, you know, Amanda Serrano continues to make history fight by fight. We just had her for 3 12s, right? She was fighting, 12 threes. She was fighting 3-minute rounds over 12 rounds. So again, you talk about wars, she's been in them. And Stevie Morgan's still relatively fresh for her age. Amanda's had not only more fights, more knockouts than she's had fights and knockouts combined. So yes, this is, again, what I like to call a trap fight. You got to be ready.
And one of the reasons that Amanda and several other female fighters want those 3-minute rounds is because it allows more time to get knockouts. I'm sure Stevie Morgan says, hey, you're going to give me more time to get a knockout? I've already got 13 in my 14 fights. I'll do that, no problem.
And this is the thing. You have Stevie Morgan, who, again, has all the motivation in the world. You ask yourself the question, what is Amanda Serrano motivated for in this fight? She has done it all. Katie Taylor is literally the only thing left. So why this, why now? And the answer is because Amanda Serrano really is the real deal. She, like you said, loves this. She eats it, breathes it, sleeps it. This is her life. So it didn't matter if it was Stevie Morgan, if it was Katie Taylor, or anybody else. She's treating it the same way. And I think this is going to be another showcase to show you why Amanda Serrano is the realest of the deals.
Even more real deal than Evander Holyfield? I mean, come on, that's my guy.
I understand.
All right.
On the women's side of things.
Oh, there you go. I'll take that. I'll take that. So
give it up, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Serrano's opponent Saturday night, Stevie Morgan, Tampa's own. Show your love out there. Stevie, you got to be excited to be back out here in Tampa. Now, you know your opponent, coming back, pound for pound, one of the great female fighters of all time. You're not impressed.
You know, you can't disrespect the champion, but I mean, I want to be where she is right now.
You're fighting at home. A message for the fans real quick.
I love my city.
Well, we look forward to seeing you inside the ropes on Saturday night. Stevie Morgan, ladies and gentlemen, give it up, Tampa, for your own right here.
Stevie Morgan, not a lot to say today. She had a lot more to say. We spoke to her on the phone, but man, she said, this is the moment I've been waiting for my entire life. I promise not to let it pass me by.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's your main event, one half of it on Saturday night at Emily here in Tampa, Florida. Please welcome to the ring, the King of Violence, Platinum Mike Perry! Mike Perry, one of the most dangerous fighters in combat sports, found his niche in some bare knuckle fighting as he stands undefeated at 5-0 under his current promotion. 3 knockouts. Step into the ring Saturday night. It'll be Jake Paul facing him off. This fearsome career across the UFC, triad combat, and bare knuckle boxing earned Perry on 2023 Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship Male Fighter of the Year just a couple months ago in April. Again, Perry standing 5-0 with a first-round KO of UFC veteran Thiago Alves, about serving his latest testament to the power and tenacity as well as the skill of this bad man inside the ring Saturday night.
They call him the King of Violence. He also might be the King of Bling after putting on that chain. What's on the end of that thing?
That looks like a picture of Jake Paul with his nose broken. Now Mike is taking it off. He's going to hold it up and show the world that ice right there. He's looking to put ice on Jake's nose after this fight's over. He's got it on the chain right now, though. I'll tell you this. Mike, he's as serious as a heart attack when it comes to these things. He's an entertainer, but it's not by choice. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
Serious as a heart attack, violent as a war general. This guy, look, he wore his ring outfit to the open workout. He's treating this like the fight.
Well, you had a great sit-down interview with both Jake and Mike Perry, a face-to-face. You can see it now on DAZN. This guy sounded like Macho Man Randy Savage. He was so amped up. What's he going to have left for fight night?
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, he was amped, man. This is how Mike lives his life, though. This is not something that he has an adrenaline dump. He's just unlimited adrenaline, unlimited energy, and I think he's just so pumped for the moment, for the opportunity. This guy has made – who has made more out of their career than Mike Perry?
You're right.
In bare-knuckle boxing, he's become a king of that.
They said he was washed after UFC. That's it. We'll never see him again.
He started that journey, and people looked at him like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. And then he took that over. Not only is he the king of it, UFC champions, much like Jake Paul does, they're coming into his sport. They're leaving without their teeth and jaws.
Luke Rockhold, hello.
Yeah, so it's the same thing that Jake is. It's kind of crazy the way their trajectories align. So Mike thinks, listen, I've done this to everybody, and I'm going to do it to the same thing the Disney kid.
The Disney kid. Mike Perry's never fought at a weight like this. He is bulked right now. I'm wondering, will his power come up with him with that extra weight, or how he'll be able to carry that?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Mike Perry's power. That's not the thing. When you look at Mike, you say, may be an issue for him in this fight. If you look at Mike and you're thinking, what are the issues? The weight is one, but it's because Jake has dynamite in his hands. And again, Mike normally fighting at 170, 185, he's going to have to come up in weight and take those punches. And one of the things that Mike's known for isn't his slick head movement. It's not his defensive prowess. It is getting punched in the face and keeping it moving going. It's the Rocky quote, right? How much can you take and keep going? That's Mike Perry's life. So if you're looking for something that may be an issue, it's the fact that he gets hit a lot.
Jake Paul is much taller. He's longer. He's more naturally bigger than Perry pretty much everywhere. Conventional wisdom says, look, if Mike Perry doesn't get Jake Paul early, it's going to be a long night. Do you agree with that?
I don't know, man, because listen, I don't know that Mike Perry has to get Jake early, but he does. If he's going to be the king of violence, he has to survive until those later rounds. If Mike Perry's going to do it, to me, It's going to be tiring the bigger fighter out. It's going to be wearing Jake down round by round by round. And we know Mike's got a gas tank. That's never an issue with him. So if you can get Jake, while, by the way, Jake is cutting weight because he was supposed to be fighting Mike Tyson, 230 pounds. How does he now have to shed all that weight, come down to 200? How does he survive or fare in those later rounds? Mike is thinking, listen, I'm going to wear you down, and then by the time the 7th and 8th comes around, I'm going to dog walk you and finish you. That's what he has to do.
What did he say to you about now fighting, instead of the bare knuckles or the 4-ounce UFC gloves, fighting in boxing gloves? What did he tell you about that?
He's like, listen, man, I'm comfortable in gloves. I train in gloves every single day. I spar in gloves. I have the gloves on. He goes, the only thing that's different is I'm fighting without the gloves. But Mike's style in bare knuckle is going to be a style in the boxing ring as well. You may see less clinching because the rule set, obviously, the Marcus Queensberry's different. He can't grab behind the head in that half-tie clinch and throw the uppercuts. You got to watch that stuff from Mike. But outside of that, he's going to box the way he fights in bare knuckle. In your face, forward movement, and aggression and violence.
I remember you asked him about, has Jake gotten in your head? Has he gotten you upset? And he's like, yeah, he has. But that's what I need. I feed off anger. I feed off aggression. Thank you, Jake Paul. Oh, yeah.
That's literally how he sounds. And again, it's almost like it's not anything other than a normal day for Mike Perry. I wonder if you upset him at the coffee shop if he's acting like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's who he is. And that's the way he lives his life. So it's not a character. It's just him turned up to the max. But one thing I want to see from Mike is, what happens if the expectation doesn't meet reality? A lot of guys come into a fight with Jake Paul. Look at him. I love it. He is, again, thinking Jake is green in the sport. He's not ready for this kind of violence. He's not man enough to handle me. What happens if the expectation doesn't meet reality and Jake is? He's ready for you. He's been in the boxing ring longer. He called Jake green in the fight game, but if you're looking at experience versus experience, Jake has more in the sweet science. So we'll see how that handles on fight night.
There are some who say, listen. Whoa.
Oh, my God, he almost fell down.
We almost lost Perry. Don't blow out your hammy.
Punch himself in the face.
All right, Mike Perry, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him. Platinum Mike Perry, the king of violence. Yo, Mike. I think you got a friend. You got a friend in here?
Can't get out of the ring.
Everybody's out to get Mike Perry today. I'd like to get a minute with him right now. Mike, a lot of talk coming into this fight. You just face this camera right here. A lot of talk coming into this fight between you and Jake. Is this build up? Is it real? What's going down Saturday night?
Of course this is real. This is as real as it gets. Platinum Mike Perry, been fighting my whole life. I've been waiting for this opportunity. I'm a warrior of the Lord. I'm a warrior for my family, and I'm a warrior for the fans. I bring it, and it can't be taken away. You can hit me as hard as you want. I'm going to keep coming at you. I eat bowls and nails for breakfast.
You're a Floridian by heart. A message for the fans coming into Saturday night. You've been around this game, brother. You've been, obviously, UFC. Now you found your niche with bare knuckle. You're stepping into the ring on Saturday night in boxing here in front of, we'll just call him your surrogate family.
This is my redemption story. This is a big part of it for me. I've been on this victory lap for years now. It's been 3 years. Platinum Mike Perry been out here winning in some of the toughest combat sports you could possibly agree to. I'm so ready for this. I've been training for this. And Jake Paul's done all the work for me. He's got you guys to pay attention. And now you're going to see what a real pro fighter does to him. I'm hungry and I'm in my prime. And I was born in Flint, Michigan, but I am a Florida boy. I love the sunshine and I love the ocean. Shout out to my babies, Ocean and Odyssey.
Mike Perry, give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night, he is your main event, one half of the main event as he takes on Jake Paul, El Gallo, and Platinum Mike Perry. That's going down at Amalie Arena here in Tampa, Florida, live on DAZN pay-per-view.
All right, Mike Perry going to make his way over here to speak with us.
I'm fired up, Todd. I'm fired up. Did you hear that promo?
Oh, I heard it. I wonder if he's still got any energy left to talk to us. I'm pretty sure he will.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'll hold the mic for you, Mike.
Woo!
Come on in here.
Come on in, Mike. In the middle here.
Good to see you, Mike. Hey, by the way, some people are worried that you might have some sort of you're so amped, you might have some adrenaline dump after like round 2 or 3. Do you have the energy to go to distance with Jake Paul?
I've been a professional fighter a long time. I thrive off the adrenaline. I've been doing this. I've been beating up guys like that guy over there. He's a bare knuckle world champion. Got slept twice by your boy. And Jake Paul, the Disney boy, getting slept on Saturday. I go all night long. I don't get tired.
Mike, I just want to ask you, you've been rocking this ice. Can you show the camera what we got on the chain there? What is that? Talk to the people. What you got?
Take a look at Jake Paul's face in the future when he gets hit with that platinum punch. That's what that is right there. That's the platinum punch getting all over Jake Paul's face. He's going to be beat up looking like this on Saturday.
Hey, Mike, you've been in some big fights in your life. You've had some great opportunities. Where does this rank as far as big fights in your career?
Look at that shit.
You ain't shape,
I worked so
buddy.
hard. I worked so hard for this. This is... It's not just another day in the office for me. I thrive off of this. I thrive off the pressure. I live for this. I've been getting paid millions of bucks fighting people. I've been doing this a long time, so this money fight ain't nothing new to me. I'm hungrier than ever. I need 20 million. I ain't got enough yet. I got to check that off my box list and get my mansion and get my yacht and get my family on the boat every day. And you ain't taking that from me, bro. I'm so hungry.
Todd, I'm going to go fight, man. I'm fired up. Listen to this guy, man.
I feel like I'm Mean Gene Okerlund here, interviewing Macho Man Randy Savage, getting ready to take on Hulk Hogan. Mike, what's your prediction for the fight?
Listen, man. I've been training so hard. Jake's good. Jake's pretty good. I remember sparring with him. It was fun. It was a good time. I smiled every time he hit me. I'm ready to fight him all night long. I love to go into the deep water. My father was in the Navy. Sometimes I feel like a man of honor, and I be out here swimming in the deep end with the sharks. All right, so I'm going in, and I'm ready to take it to the 8th round if it need be. Stop Jake in the 7th. He said $500K if I go to the 7th round with him. But what if I knock him out well before the 7th round? Is he still going to honor that bet?
My goodness gracious, Todd, I ain't got no words left. I don't think there's anything left to say. I'm just excited to see this main event on Saturday.
All right, Mike, you mentioned that he has some holes in his game that you're going to exploit. We saw him fight Nate Diaz, who went the distance. What did Nate not do to Jake that you were going to do?
Come on, man. All these guys was mad ever since they sat down with Jake. They was mad at the opportunity that they ever got. They thought that they was too good for Jake Paul to even be in the ring with them. I'm not. I'm humble. I'm cool with that. I've had some battles with some great fighters and competitors in my life, and I've earned this shot to be here, and I'm ready to compete and showcase my talents to the world. I'm ready for it, and I'm excited to get in the ring and punch on Jake and make him feel the pain in the hood, bro.
Mike Perry, ladies and gentlemen, go ice yourself down. We'll see you tomorrow at the press conference.
Show him, Mike.
Let's go back into the ring, ladies and gentlemen. It's Joe Martinez.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next to make her way to the ring, one of the trailblazers of boxing, one of the greatest. She is a true warrior, the single most decorated boxer of all time, a 7-division world champion, the first undisputed champion from Puerto Rico. Here's the one, the only, Amanda, the real deal, Serrano! Amanda Serrano from Puerto Rico, 7-division world champion. An obvious veteran inside the ropes, 46 wins, including 30 knockouts. Just 2 defeats and 1 draw as she returns to the ring on Saturday night at the age of 35 years old. Of course, she is taking on Tampa's own Stevie Morgan. That fight going down. Your co-main event Saturday night, Amalie Arena here in Tampa, Florida.
Amanda Serrano, the real deal, one of the best female fighters of all time. Of course, Katie Taylor won that first fight, so she's got the leg up right now. They're scheduled, again, to square off in November in a very highly anticipated rematch. But like we were saying earlier, first things first, she's fighting an opponent on Saturday who's 14-1 with 13 knockouts. She's from Tampa, Florida here in Stevie Morgan. What kind of fight are you expecting to see from Amanda?
I mean, listen, we know what Amanda brings to the ring. She is forward pressure. She is suffocating. And Todd, you'd have to be silly to think that it's not in the back of her mind, the Katie Taylor fight. You'd have to think that she is at least thinking about it, at least looking at it. But she is such a high-level fighter, such a high-level champion that she's able to put that aside and focus in like the greats do. Michael Jordans you think of, Derek Jeters you think of. When the greats grace their stage, they focus on another level, and she has done it almost 50 times at age 35. This is routine for her, and her fight style is going to be nothing but.
Of course, at 35 years old, after nearly 50 pro fights, you wonder how much she's got left in the tank. We said this earlier. She's been in some absolute wars. I mean, she's not in there sticking and moving and not getting touched. She likes to battle. She likes to get punched. She's like a Mike Perry female version without quite the same amount of craziness. But Amanda Serrano is a one and only type of fighter, for sure.
Yeah, and listen, she has the skills to back it up, but at certain times, that Puerto Rican mindset comes out and she wants to stand in the pocket and let it go. And she's got the toughness, she's got the ability, she's got the skill, the will, but at a certain point, if you're Amanda Serrano, it will become, it's time to end this fight. And she always finds the button. It's just a matter of, again, like you said, Todd, the wars, the age. Is it still there? I say absolutely, and I think we're going to see that Saturday.
And, of course, a lot of controversy. We were supposed to see her in action in Puerto Rico. A huge crowd showed up, and she wasn't able to fight. I know you know more about that situation. They didn't allow her to fight. She was devastated about that. She wants to give her fans something special on Saturday.
I mean, I've never seen a more heartbroken fighter live in person. Think about your moment in front of your people being taken away from you. That devastated Amanda, but it speaks to her championship mindset, her championship heart, that she's able to, in that moment, rethink, reimagine what can be. And, of course, it was supposed to be the Katie Taylor fight. We'll see. Obviously, we got to take care of business on Saturday, but you could have easily said, you know what, that was it. Maybe I don't want to do, I don't know. But for Katie Taylor, this is life. This is not, okay, I'm going to pack it in. She might not stop fighting until the heart stops beating. That's the type of fighter she is. So when it wasn't there in Puerto Rico, I knew that she was going to come back better, stronger, and that's what we're going to see on Saturday.
And, you know, female boxing has never been more popular than it is right now, at least in my lifetime. And Amanda says, look, I've been fighting since no one was paying attention to me. When I was fighting in front of 20 and 30 people and getting paid a couple of $100. Now that I'm making major money and getting major crowds, why would I walk away from the sport that I love so much? And no one is more dedicated to the craft than Amanda Serrano. She won't even date Wade. She won't even go out on dates because she's in love with boxing.
Listen, I don't know anything about her dating life. I don't want that out there. But I'll say this. I'm really tired of this narrative that, oh, you know, does Amanda still have it? What's going on? Every fight she's in, she is still crisp. She is still powerful. I think that she's still at the highest level, and I think that's what we're going to see Saturday. She is a bona fide superstar, Todd, and if anyone can say they've earned it, it's Amanda Serrano. She has been, like you said, at the very bottom of the card, at the very bottom of the pill, and all the way now to the top. She is a bona fide superstar.
Amanda Serrano, once known for her knockout power, 30 KOs and 46 wins. It's been quite a while, but her trainer, Jordan Maldonado, said, listen, the reason she hasn't been getting stoppages later is because fighters won't stand in there and scrap with her. They back away. They force her to chase her. So her opponent on Saturday night, Stevie Morgan, is the type of fighter who's head hunting as well. So we could have a perfect clash of styles where someone's getting knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely. The way Stevie fights, she comes forward. She wants to be in the pocket. Amanda invites that. And like you said, not many girls will do it. but Amanda still got fast hands. She still got big-time power in those hands. And with the right matchup, you're going to see fireworks Saturday.
And you can watch her live here in Tampa. Limited tickets still available. And, of course, you can watch it on DAZN pay-per-view.
All right, let's give it up for Amanda Serrano, the real deal. Amanda, just one question for you. Your opponent Saturday night maybe respects you as the champion that you are. But does she truly? Do you feel that? And what's your response to all the trash talk that's been going on?
Listen, I'm super excited to be in Tampa once again. I love my fans. I love the fans here. We had a great night. Honestly, I just hope that she comes with the same energy Saturday night, because if she does, the fans are in for a great treat.
I think we could see that Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. This is your co-main event. Again, Stevie Morgan taking on the woman right here, 7-division world champion, Amanda the Real Deal Serrano. And don't forget Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets and join us at Amalie Arena here in Tampa, Florida. And for fight fans watching around the world, tune in live on DAZN pay-per-view. Get yourself squared away for Saturday night, July 20th, here in Tampa, Florida.
It's still shocking when you hear 7-division world champion. I mean, that is incredible.
An absolute career of dominance, Todd. That's what I think of when I think of the real deal, Amanda Serrano. Here comes the champ now.
Amanda Serrano is here. All bow down, ladies and gentlemen.
Diamond flesh.
The queen of mean, so to speak. Hey, how amped are you to get back in the ring after that heartbreak from Puerto Rico?
Man, I'm super excited. I've been ready since January, so I'm itching for a fight. You know me, I love to fight. That's my happy place. I love being in there. I don't mind getting punched in the face to give you one or two of my punches.
Amanda, is that the motivation for this one? Because you've really done it all. You have done all of it. Obviously, Katie Taylor fight, I know that you're looking at that in the back of your mind, but what is the motivation to keep being great on the highest level every single fight? What do you keep doing this for?
The women, the other women in the sport, the women coming up in the sport, young girls, amateur girls coming into the sport. I'm hoping that I open the doors for these women so it's a lot easier for them than it was for me in the sport. And I just love making exciting fights. You know, I give the fans their money worth. I go out there, I fight with everything I have, and that's what I want to be remembered as.
You talk about exciting fights. Styles make fights, and it takes two to tango. Stevie Morgan's one of those fighters who's headhunting, looking for a knockout. What is your prediction against someone like that?
I'm super excited. I hope that she comes. You know, that's what people say. They usually say that, and then when they go in there, they change. I hope she comes to fight, because I'm coming to fight. I respect Stevie Morgan. That knockout, that name Sledgehammer, that means she got something, right?
Right. It's a good nickname.
So I respect her, and I'm going to go in there, and we're going to give the fans their money worth, and we're going to try to steal the show from Mike Perry and Jake Paul.
You know, Amanda, she has been talking. You've been talking that talk. Does that give a little bit more fire, or you've been here before, you know how this goes, and on Saturday you're going to show it?
Not at all. If you know me, you know I don't talk. I work in silence, and I talk in the ring. I let my fist do the talking. You know, I've been there before. It doesn't get to me. I go out there and I do what I have to do. I never worry about my opponent. I always worry about what I'm going to do to my opponent.
At this stage of your career, is it about, when you go to the gym, staying at the elite level, or are you still learning, you still trying to get better in the gym at this point?
No, obviously I'm still learning. 15 years as a professional, and it's just now that I hire a nutritionist. So, come on.
Yeah.
But I feel great. I hire a nutritionist for this fight, and I've been eating stuff that I never eaten before, like vegetables.
You don't eat vegetables?
Not really.
It's a new addition, Tosh. You're getting used to it.
Well, at least people can tell your daughters eat vegetables, because Amanda Serrano doesn't. Look at her.
Yeah, and I'm happy the way I feel and the way I look. It's funny because I spoke to my nutritionist, and I told him what I used to eat before my fights, after the weigh-ins, and he looked at me like I was crazy. So I did everything. I achieved all my goals just doing the craziness and out of brute strength. But I'm happy where I'm at now. I'm happy how I feel, and you're going to see that come Saturday night.
Listen, I'm excited for the fight. This is my main event anytime Amanda Serrano fights. So I'll be watching, as the world will be. Do you have a final message to people at home that are tuning in?
Listen, if you haven't got your tickets yet, make sure you get your ticket at Ticketmaster. buy a pay-per-view on DAZN, because you know why? Stevie Morgan said she's going to knock me out. We'll see. You guys are in for a treat come Saturday night.
Yeah, we've heard it before. Let's see if Stevie Morgan can deliver. She faces 7-division world champion, one of the greatest of all time, Amanda Serrano. Pleasure to be with you. Good luck to you.
Thanks, man.
Just attacking upstairs and going downstairs. That's what I wanted to see from her.
So Amanda Serrano in her co-main event Saturday night against Stevie Morgan. There is the rest of the lineup. 5 fights on the main fight card, 3 on the prelim as well. Of course, there's one fighter we haven't seen in the ring yet. We're about a minute away from the problem child, Jake Paul, making his appearance here in Tampa, Florida. But one quick final thought on Amanda Serrano's fight. How much of a test do you think it's truly going to be for her Saturday night against Stevie Morgan?
I think it's all about how Stevie approaches this fight. If she does what a lot of girls do with Amanda, like, yes, you talk like, I'm going to be in the center with you, I'm going to come and bring the action. It's going to be a short night, I think, if that happens. If she goes in there and does what a lot of girls do and sees that power, sees that speed early and says, I don't know if I want to exchange like that, then I can see this going into the later rounds and Amanda doing what she does, which is dominance round by round by round. But it will be interesting, and again, we talked about it with Stevie. She really has nothing to lose. She's in her hometown. I think she's going to give it a go here, and I think that's going to be a great result for Amanda.
Hey, and don't forget, there's that Katie Taylor fight looming in November, so hopefully Amanda Serrano has her eyes on the fight Saturday night and won't get caught looking ahead. I'm sure she won't. Let's go into the ring one final time to Joe Martinez.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man we've all been waiting for. Here he comes. He made all of this happen. People called it a gimmick. And he went on to revolutionize the sport of boxing. From Cleveland, Ohio, here is the disruptor, the businessman, the fighter. Please welcome El Gallo, Jake Paul! The man who is single-handedly revitalizing the sport of boxing. He's a legitimate claim to be the face of the sweet science, shaking up the boxing industry, fight after fight. The one and only Jake Paul, El Gallo. Part of your main event on Saturday night, Platinum Mike Perry will step into the ring with El Gallo Jake Paul, who stands at 9-1 with 6 knockouts in this cruiserweight throwdown inside of Amalie Arena here in Tampa, Florida. Catch it live worldwide on DAZN pay-per-view, and of course, for our local audience, we encourage you to go to Ticketmaster.com, put $20 down, and get inside the door Saturday night.
There he is, Jake Paul. And by the way, Wade, I need you to dial this phone number. It's called 1-800-TEAM-PAUL. Can
Listen,
you do that?
I'm going to read the rest of the shirt. I'm not looking for an ass whipping, so I'm not dialing that number at all. In fact, I'm blocking that number, Todd. Maybe you can dial it later on. But, yeah, man, listen, the main event is here. The problem child, El Gallo de Dorado, and no pun intended, You see the glasses he's wearing. He is not looking through any rose tints when it comes to Michael Perry. This fight is as serious as a heart attack, and I think he's treating it that way. The interesting part is short notice. Again, another Mike in November. How does he handle the expectation and the reality of what's about to happen?
You know, as impressed as Jake Paul is with what Mike Perry has done in his career, Jake is uber confident that not only does he win this fight, that he destroys Mike Perry within 3 rounds. Where do you think this confidence is coming from, considering his opponent?
I think it's Jake's experience. He has been in there at the highest moments of his career with big-time scary guys. Tyron Woodley came in to this very arena in Amalia, and not only did he knock him down, he left him face down. The dude wipe showing. So I don't know, again, if you can get more confident than a guy that does that to a world champion, a former world champion in the UFC, and he looks at Mike Perry as he said, a Mike appetizer. By the way, shout out Dave & Buster's. They'll be sponsoring the event, and we were there at face-to-face, and that's what he felt like. He said the energy is here, the warm-up fight. And he treats him seriously, but he obviously is super confident that he's going to end it in, what did he say, 2 rounds?
And you made a good point earlier. Jake Paul was bulking up to fight Mike Tyson at heavyweight. He's had to cut weight to get to that 200-pound limit, but he didn't seem to think it was much of a problem. And in there right now, he looks pretty darn good.
Well, if it was a problem, this is the problem child. And listen, I talked about a trap fight with Amanda Serrano. This is a different meaning. Look at the kid's traps right now. Those neck muscles are bulging. The guy was in heat condition for a different weight class. He had to cut some weight down, so he's looking to make that weight. And he even talked about, it's going to be a tough cut, but he's here, he's ready to go. And the one thing you can't say about Jake is he will always take a challenge. And again, he didn't have to fight at all. He had the Mike Tyson fight. Okay, we put it off. We'll do it another time. He's still taking Mike Perry on short notice at a weight class down. And he's showing off a little bit of that speed here at 200 pounds as he continues his warm-up here. So, yeah, Jake is game. He's ready to go. I'm excited for Saturday.
Yeah, Mike Perry had to put weight on for this fight. Jake Paul had to take weight off. We interviewed Mike Perry earlier today, and he says, listen, Jake Paul said he will pay me $500,000 if I go the distance with him. In your opinion, what are the odds that Jake Paul doesn't finish Mike Perry and it does go the full 8 rounds?
Listen, it's more than likely that Jake has at some point in this fight a moment where either he has got an opening and he can put Mike away, or Mike finds his opening and can change the pace of this fight. It's going to be a moment, I think it's going to be in the first couple of rounds where both guys are open to land hammers. It's just going to be who gets there. And Jake is more technical. He's been in this sport longer, so the likelihood is that he gets this done. But again, if you're talking about a guy with Mike Perry, you can't measure how much heart, will, skill he has if he's able to walk through some of these bombs. But I've been in Jake's camp. I've heard rumors of him being able to put guys away and that power just continuing to increase, because we say that Jake has more experience, and he does in the boxing ring. But think about it, Todd. The guy's only been boxing for 6 years. He's still learning. We talked about Amanda Serrano learning. She's been in the game for 20 years. Jake is still figuring out things and learning things in his game and learning how his body reacts to certain fighters and certain fights themselves. So I think we're going to see an improved version of Jake. I want to see that. And on Saturday, it's going to be a matter of not, for me, can he do it, but will he do it in the way he wants to?
Well, Jake Paul predicted that he would knock out Nate Diaz, which he wasn't able to do. And I asked him about that. Hey, listen, you're so confident you're going to finish Mike Perry. Why are you so confident when you weren't able to finish Nate Diaz? He goes, you don't understand how much I have improved since that fight. I've blown 2 guys out since then. But if you see me in the gym every day, there are so many things that I've learned and so many tricks up my sleeve that I just haven't been able to show. I'm hoping Mike Perry can bring out the best in me, because I'll show you how much better I have gotten, and people really need to start taking me seriously in this division.
One thing Jake cannot do, and he did this a little bit in the Nate Diaz fight, is take moments off, right? And that means, because again, it was a 10-round fight and Nate is a zombie, you can't in exchanges take moments off, because Mike Perry is not Nate Diaz where he will pander to the crowd and he'll look around and salute and have those little moments. He'll be in your face all night, and he's not taking breaks. Jake's going to have to be aware of that, and while Jake is massively confident in his ability to KO Mike, he's got to be switched on for the entirety of the fight. Otherwise, the red button can get pushed. And the one thing that no one seems to think can happen, I still believe can, Mike Perry coming home with a win, is absolutely possible.
And listen, Nate Diaz treated that event like a boxing match. He was boxing with Jake Paul. Mike Perry's treating this like a fight. He said, listen, this is not a boxing match. I'm not a boxer. I am a fighter, and I'm coming to knock you out from round 1.
Here's the thing. Mike Perry's style is kind of perfect for the way Jake fights. He does want you to walk forward. He does want you to be aggressive. And again, you don't have a lot of examples of this, but we have to say the ones we have. Nate Robinson, not a great boxer, but he was forward pressure the entirety of the fight and got knocked out for it. Nate Diaz, forward pressure, got knocked down for it. Tyron Woodley, forward pressure, a little bit clunky, but still, he walked onto one.
Fury, he knocked Fury down as well.
This is the thing. If you are not going to present anything other than toughness, physicality, aggression, Jake's skilled enough to find the button. You have to present him with more than that.
Jake Paul will have an extensive reach advantage. He's also 3 inches taller. How do you expect, a lot of people say, look, just jab Mike Perry's head off. Just move around, jab, 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 wear him out. But Jake says, I'm not going to do that. I'm not trying to finish him in the later rounds. I'm trying to finish him in the early rounds.
Jake has done a great job of setting up his opponents. Whatever the fight you can pull out of the repertoire, he's done a great job with his jab to set people up. Mike has even talked about it. He goes, listen, back in our spar, yeah, Jake landed some things.
Tampa, Florida, Mike Perry and Jake Paul squaring off Saturday night in front of the whole boxing world. They'll be watching live on DAZN pay-per-view, and you too can be there by logging on to Ticketmaster.com and get your tickets starting at just $20.
As I was saying, Todd, before I was not rudely, appropriately interrupted.
The DJ cranked it up a little bit.
They had to crank it. What I was saying was, listen, Jake is a good setup artist. It's not just with his fights. As you can see, is the main event for a reason. He brings the folks out and they're energized. He's a setup artist even before the fight starts. He's been playing mental games with Mike Perry, been trying to get him out of his shell. That will show up in the fight if Mike is just going to forward pressure and just try to out-tough him. Jake's good enough at this point to utilize that jab you're talking about. The stuff he's learning. And again, we've only seen him in short spurts outside of the Nate Diaz fight. I think he has something special planned for Saturday night.
And Jake Paul will tell anybody who will listen, this is my life now. Just like Canelo, boxing is life. I'm not here just to have fun fights, make some noise, make some money. He wants to be a world champion. He says he will fight Canelo Alvarez one day and beat him. And for those who say that's impossible, just look what he's done so far. Look what his brother has done so far in the last few years. I mean, insane stuff that no one ever dreamed would be possible.
It's incredible to see, man, because listen, when people ask me about Jake Paul, if I'm on the street, I'm walking around, even my dad is a country bumpkin that doesn't necessarily watch a ton of fights anymore. He heard Mike Tyson was fighting Jake and he was like, wait, what are we talking about this Jake Paul guy? What's he all about? And the one thing I tell them, by the way, that's that southern accent, Todd, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I tell them that he thrives in the spotlight. It's otherworldly to see some of these influencers turned boxers just step in to 20,000 seat arenas, 15,000 seat arenas and perform at their best. Jake has done that time and time and time again. Pressure doesn't seem to get to him. And again, that's another factor where Mike is coming in, he's fought in big fights. This is going to be brighter lights than he's seen in a long time.
You know, I'm fortunate enough to call almost all the big major boxing events for DAZN, and people ask me, what do I think about Jake Paul? Is it a positive or a negative that he's involved in boxing? I go, listen, anytime I'm in one of these big cities and I get in an Uber, and the Uber driver asks me what I do, and I say I'm a boxing announcer. Almost every time they go, oh, Jake Paul. They want to know what Jake Paul's doing. They hear about him. He is so big, and he gets so much attention. He's, in essence, dare I say it, become one of the faces of this sport.
Listen, he calls Canelo the face, and he is the ass, but he is part of the biggest reason that
I haven't heard that.
Crossover boxing has taken such a big spotlight, and I watch him work. He puts in the time, he puts in the effort. People talk about, how this influencer thing has been disrespectful to the sport. I'll say this, no one has respected the sport as far as the work put in, the ability to continue to get better for a guy that didn't grow up in it like Jake has. I think he is doing a great job with it, and all I'm excited to see now is how far this train can go.
Jake Paul versus Mike Perry live on DAZN pay-per-view Saturday night.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Jake Paul, El Gallo in the house. Jake, I know you got some words for these fans.
Hey, Tampa, you remember the last time I was here? I knocked Tyron Woodley the fuck out. Now it's Mike Perry. I promise you a highlight reel KO, Tampa.
So, Jake, that actually leads me to a question. I know you got a little bit of bag work still to do right now, so we'll let you square off with that and come right back to you. Todd.
Jake Paul will make his way over here shortly. He's not done.
He's not done yet, Todd.
Mike Perry couldn't stop talking. He was screaming and yelling. Jake Paul can't stop fighting in there.
He almost knocked out third with that shot right there. Theo Chambers holding the pad. He's angry punching here, Todd. He's ready. We're only a couple days away until he gets to let all that out.
You heard Jake Paul promise not just a knockout, but a highlight reel KO. And he said in your face-to-face he's going to do it by the end of the third round.
Yeah, again, he attributes this to the work in the gym. Like, again, I'm not going to put names out there, but I know that Jake is sparring and in the gym with high-level guys, world championship caliber guys. That's where he gets his confidence. The guy didn't have an amateur career, so he essentially was fighting in spars to get his experience. So that has been one of the biggest reasons he's confident, outside of the fact that he does that in the ring, under the lights as well. Tyron Woodley learned that. Nate Diaz learned that. The guy, whether you want to say he was on YouTube, he was on Disney, he's going to surprise you if you don't take him seriously. And again, I fear that Mike Perry might be doing a little bit of that same thing.
Back inside the ring one more time with Jake Paul, ladies and gentlemen. Jake, quick question for you. A lot of the MMA community has said you've bitten off more than you can chew with Mike Perry. I think you've heard that before. What's your response to that one?
Hey, man, I'm a shark. I can eat a whole human. This is nothing new. This is what I do. I take risks. I fear no man. That's why this is the name of the fight. He is the king of violence. He has one-punch knockout power, but I don't get hit. And on Saturday night, you're going to see the sweet science come to life against a guy who doesn't know how to box.
I think we all appreciate what you're doing Saturday night. It's been quite a change to the boxing world. You've shaken the boxing world up. What keeps you going with this?
Man, I'm going to be world champion one day. People could say whatever they want, but that's my dream, that's my goal, and I'm going to accomplish it to show the kids out there that you can go from zero to the best in the world in 6 years. I've been in this game for 4 years, and in 2 years, I will be world champion. That's what keeps me going. I'm on a mission from God to prove that anything is possible when you set your mind to it.
Amen. Well, this is quite a mission that you've been on, and I know the entire boxing world, as well as the sports world, MMA community, everybody has taken notice that you're putting the work in, and it's been proven. So looking to Saturday night against Mike, there's been a lot of trash talk coming into this, social media, everything that goes on around the world. What are your true feelings about Mike?
Man, don't listen to him. You need to eat cereal for breakfast, not balls and nails. But my only message is I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Mike Perry in less than 2 rounds, July 20th, this Saturday in Tampa, Florida. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Mike Perry in less than 2 rounds. I promise you that.
Mark his words, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night, Emily Arena. Jake, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to send you over to Todd. How about one more hand tap? We got the boxing bullies up front. Give it up for Jake Paul.
talked about Mike Perry's energy in there. Jake's not far behind.
He's fired up, man. Again, you're talking about a guy, like you said, Todd, who has become a fighter through and through. You know, this is his life now. And when you get this close to a fight, it's hard to hide it. It's hard to stay composed and not act like this is a big moment. Jake's starting to feel that energy of fight night as it's fastly approaching.
There he is with his crew, including Jalen Love on his right. You saw the shirt for an ass-whooping call, 1-800-TEAM-PAUL. I think anybody on the team would be willing to do that.
Yeah, I blocked the number in our break there, Todd. I'm never seeing that again outside of those shirts. I do not want or condone any of these ass whoopings, but I'm excited to see one on Saturday night.
So Jake Paul going to make his way over here. We'll ask him a couple of questions, including why his prediction keeps getting shrunk from round 3 now to round 2.
It continues to go down as his confidence goes up. And again, it's built in the training room as Jake is now launching some W into the crowd. It is a refreshing fragrance, I will say. He sprayed me with some of it at the face-to-face. I was feeling good.
You could have worn some today, if I'm being honest, Wade.
We might get some. He's carrying, I mean, look at it. He's throwing it like it's candy out here, so we might have some still for us. Oh, good snag there from the crowd.
Well, Jake Paul has certainly garnered enough attention, not only the boxing world, but, you know, there'll be people there Saturday night who just aren't boxing fans, but they're Jake Paul fans, and they want to see what he can do.
And also, Tom, we have to talk about the other side of this. Jake is in Mike Perry's backyard. And I was in Texas when Nate Diaz walked out. Jake was the villain there. Evil won and Nate Diaz to beat him. This is the story. It's the Floyd Mayweather recipe, handbook. You fight to see, can someone beat this guy? Can they shut him up? It's been that way since he started. I have a feeling, while yes, the boxing bullies, of course, Jake's obviously been very generous in giving back to the boxing community with boxing bullies. They are massive fans of his, and he has them worldwide. But when we get into that arena in Tampa, Florida, Emily is going to be screaming Mike Perry.
It's just like in the WWE. Any wrestler will tell you, love me or hate me, just care about me. Just want to see what I do, whether it's win or lose. And that's what Jake Paul has garnered. There are people that will be buying that pay-per-view and sitting in the chairs that aren't even Mike Perry fans. They just want to see Jake Paul get his comeuppance. And maybe Mike Perry can be the guy to do it. And let me tell you something. Jake Paul saying he wants to knock him out in round 2. If I'm Mike Perry and I'm hearing that, I'm like, thank God. Come and get me.
I know what he's doing. I know Mike Perry right now is, ooh, brother, you better come and get me round 2. Please come and bring me that energy.
You need more bass.
I don't have it.
Down here.
I don't have it. I got that tenor voice. I sing up high. But yes, you're 100% right. Mike Perry is feeding off of all this. You heard him in the ring. He said, listen, Jake's doing all the hard work for me. He's promoting the fight. People are paying attention to me, but to him, Mike is kind of used to being in Jake's position. He's the flagship bearer of Bear. He doesn't have to do that this time around. He gets to sit back and perform in front of his people at home. He has to think that's an advantage for him. The problem child, I guess, for this situation is that Jake lives in this environment. The bright lights are always on. And again, I wonder if Mike has seen him that bright before.
You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of, you know, John Jones in the UFC, what he would do. He would say, look, whatever my opponent's the best at, I'm going to beat him at his game. I'm not going to fight the way that people think I should fight to win. If you're great at jiu-jitsu, I'm going to take you down and go for jiu-jitsu. Wrestling the same way. If you're a better striker, that's what I'm going to do. And Jake Paul saying, I'm going to go in there and make this a barn burner over 2 rounds, that's Mike Perry's game.
Honestly, Todd, that sounds good, right? It sounds great when you say it. It's a bad idea. Not because Jake is not a great fighter in the pocket with, you know, for his level, but that is Mike's strength. I don't think you get into a war and play the 50-50 game. If I flip a quarter right now, Todd, it's going to land on heads or tails. If Jake gets into 50-50s with Mike Perry, there's a chance, and it's a 50% chance, that he gets clipped on the chin with one of those bruised up, calloused up, pussed up knuckles of Mike Perry. That's not what you want. I think you should box this smartly and then look to pounce. But we'll see what happens Saturday.
Yeah, I want you to say that to Jake when he stands here on the stage.
Hey, listen, I don't mind.
In just a few minutes, here comes the problem child, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one and only Jake Paul, who's got his Celsius now. Jake, you look like you just got into a fight. You're pouring sweat right now.
It's hot out there. I'm cutting out these last pounds. I haven't had sodium, so all the water's coming out. So last couple of pounds of the weight cut here.
Let me ask you this, Jake. If I'm a Mike Perry fan, I'm saying the only way Mike Perry is going to beat Jake Paul is if Jake Paul comes at him early when Mike Perry has that adrenaline going. Why do you predict now a second-round knockout? Why not stick and move and use that jab?
He just has too many holes. He has no head movement. He's an offensive fighter. He's very violent, but he's going to get exposed, and I have too much power for these guys at 200 pounds, and that's just the way it goes. And if you're a Mike Perry fan, I love you. It's going to be okay. It's going to be a short night, so you're going to make your bedtime.
Listen, Jake, you have to know you're playing a dangerous game right now. Not just because it's Platinum Mike Perry and he's dangerous as it is. You got another Mike. A couple of months from now, Mike Tyson, one of the greatest ever. You're talking about a first or second round knockout. I have to think that's in the back of your mind. How do you keep it back there and not let that overwhelm you and not pay attention to Mike Perry here?
Yeah, that's the meditation practice and staying locked in into the present moment. That's what Michael Jordan was best at. I've taken some tips from him. I just stay locked in, focus on what's ahead of me this Saturday, and then the rest will come. But you got to risk it to get the biscuit. And Mike Tyson's a big biscuit, so I'm putting that on the line. I need the experience. This is a Mike appetizer. And on Saturday, I'm just going to get more ring experience under my belt, under the bright lights, which is crucial for my goal to become world champion. So I need this fight. I want this fight. I fear no man. I'm ready to run it wherever, whenever, with whoever.
You said you've gotten a lot better since the fight with Nate Diaz, but you haven't been able to show it because you've blown out your opponents. What things have you improved on, and what are we going to see Saturday night?
Yeah, a lot of movement, footwork stuff, combinations, upping my volume, knowing when to press someone, knowing when to release, taking my time, patience, and then setting up shots. A lot of work on the jab. You can always make the jab better. So we've really done it all over the past year, and hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to last more than 1 or 2 rounds based off of watching that open workout of his.
Yeah, what'd you see there?
I saw an amateur. I saw a guy who had a boxing coach teach him the wrong way. He's crossing his feet. His body's wide open. He's stiff. No head movement. Short punches. He doesn't know how to use his range or anything. He's stationary. Lots of flaws. And he is a very violent, but like I said, this is the sport of boxing.
Well, Jake, congrats on your career so far. Good luck Saturday night. I'll give you the final word to all those fans who are getting ready to order this pay-per-view.
I love you guys. Thank you for the support since day one. I'm doing this to prove to y'all that y'all can accomplish anything. So chase your dreams. Start today. Drink Celsius. Get W and download better. Stop playing.
You're like a NASCAR driver.
Exactly.
All right, so there he goes. The problem child, Jake Paul. Limited tickets are still available right now on Ticketmaster.com. And make sure you order the pay-per-view right now. You get a discount if you purchase it early. So go to DAZN.com. Wade, I'll give you the final word here as we wrap things up.
This is one of the cards that I have seen Jake on that I am so juiced for, man. You do not want to miss. Tampa, Florida, come out. Amalie Arena. We are going to have banger after banger on this card from the opening fight to the main event. Do not blink because it is the king of violence, Mike Perry. It is the problem child, Jake Paul. They are about to put on a show in the main event come Saturday.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, the press conference. Friday, the weigh-in, and then Saturday, fear no man. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry live from Tampa. For Wade Plim, I'm Todd Grisham. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Just attacking upstairs and going downstairs. That's what I wanted to see from her.